Okay, I'm at Google Forms, so I'm going to create a new form. And you can use this for a variety of things to take surveys, um, exit tickets, short quizzes, benchmark quizzes. Allows you to create them rather simply and gather the data, put it all into a spreadsheet. So let's take a look. So here's my form. I'm going to create an exit ticket. I'm just going to do a couple questions, and then I'll show you the actual one that I've created. So I'm just going to call this exit ticket. And then we move on to the questions. So then here's what you would check what type of question you're asking. So short answer, first I just want them to put the first name, last name. And then I just go another one, last name. And I just leave them all required. So they cannot submit it until they answer all the questions. And then here, I like to ask some reflective questions in my class, like were you on time? Did you check social media? What's one thing you learned in class? Those types of things. The other thing I like to do is I like to have all my data in one place. So I use the same form for all my classes, which you can easily do by just which section or class you're in. So I'll just do that. And then I can just choose here a drop down. And I'm just going to for time's sake, I'm just going to make up sections here. And then whenever you want to preview how your form is looking, you just click right up here at the eyeball, the preview button. And you can see now it's very easy, just click a checkbox. And then when we create that spreadsheet, it helps us, we can filter by class based on that number. To resume editing, we just click back here on the edit this form with the little pencil button. All right, and then I'm going to keep going here. Oh, I actually put this up here. You can move questions around by just grabbing them and reordering it, which is what I did right there. And I'm just going to do a multiple choice here, another one. I can just say, did you arrive on time? And what you can see when you ask questions that are yes, no, or have specific answers, oftentimes Google already knows what you're asking, which is a little scary, but there you go. So that's that. So that's a multiple choice question. You can also have checkboxes where they can answer more than one. So let's pick one that. So I'm just going to make something up. What was favorite topic today? And I'm going to check the checkboxes. And then I'm just going to make up stuff here. Just home color, let's say dynamics. So I'm just putting in just random music words there, but then they can check so you can get a gauge on what they were most engaged in, interested in, and so forth. And then finally, you can have either long, short answers or paragraph if you want them to write a little more reflective. It's not that they're limited if you put paragraphs, so you can just put paragraph as a default. So, and then you could just ask something like, what's and then they can do it. And then I can just duplicate it because I'm going to ask another question, or I can hit plus, but then it'll duplicate it and I'll just change it here to ask one question that you have about class today. So I often do this where I'll have them name something what was their most interesting fact that they learned, what's one question they have about class today, and then what are they looking forward into their next class. So, and I'll ask a couple other questions. And I give this to all my classes at the end of class. I give them the last 5 minutes to do it. So we have this form here set up, and you can preview it again. And see, so there's an example of a drop down. This is one or the other. This I can check multiple, and these I just type in the answers. Okay, and then when they would hit submit. So now I'm ready to submit it or send it. And what I can do then is I click send. and create a link. So I can take this Google Doc, I can also make it shorter just so it's easier to more manageable, copy it, I can paste it into Blackboard, I can give it to a QR code so students can just point their phone at it up on the screen, but that code will always lead to this form. And again, you've created this once and it can be used throughout the entire semester because it's just going to keep compiling on a spreadsheet. Because once you then have the responses will show up here. And then to create it in a spreadsheet, you would just click right here, create spreadsheet, create new spreadsheet. And that will constantly be linked to the form. Now there's nothing here, but this you can always check back as the semester goes on. So I'm going to show, I made a copy of a duplicate of the one that I'm using, and I took the student last names out. So here's the one that I'm using for this semester. And you can see here's the view. We can put it in preview view, all the students see it. So first name, last name, course enrolled. And then I just ask a couple reflective questions. I tell them to be honest and just kind of do a check-in on themselves. Did you arrive on time today? Did you participate? Did you check social media while you're in class? And then what was the most interesting or important thing you learned today? Right, ask one question about today's content in class. And then what are you looking forward to in the next class? So I have them do this the last 5 minutes every class in all of my classes. And I use the same form because they can just pick from here. So I literally have it all collected in a Google Sheets database, which is right here. And you can see there's the responses from all the students. And I can review. And then a lot of times with the questions, oftentimes they're asking me the same questions. I can address in the next class. Or if there's things that they find interesting, I can talk a little bit about more. Or also as well as what are they looking forward to in the next class for the discussion. So it's a very useful tool. And you can also, with Sheets, you can narrow it down to look by class, by date, and so forth. So the way to do that is just use filters. So this has all of my classes. And you can see it's semester's relatively not too far into it, but I have a lot of responses because I do it with all my courses. I can just click here, course enrolled, and click on filter. And now I can choose, well, I just want to see the responses from my Music 110.02 class, and then I click OK, and now I can narrow it down and look and review what they have questions about, what they're looking at, and then I can always just go back here, same thing again, clear that out, look at my 04 class, click OK, and look at their answers, look at their responses. What do they have questions about, what are they looking forward to? So that's how I use Google Forms to create an exit ticket. If you ever have any questions, you can always feel free to contact me. Thank you.